here with Grand-Peezy right now. We're talking about, what were we talking about, Pops?
Well, we're discussing waterbeds, and I asked you if you ever, did I ever tell you about when I used to deliver waterbeds, and the serial killer that delivered waterbeds with me.
So what is this? What year are we at?
This story is really a two-part story. Okay, the beginning of the story takes place in 1980 in Merced, California. I was working at a waterbed store called, well, they had two stores. This family owned two stores called the Pink Warehouse and LaBart's.
Okay.
It was like, whatever, two different furniture stores in Merced, California. And I used to deliver waterbeds for them.
Hold on. This is Grand-Peezy time. Right?
So one day a new guy came. I was about 21, 22 years old. And one day a new guy came to work at the store, and I noticed the other employees kind of like whispering, or they kind of knew something about him that I didn't really know what it was about.
Yeah.
Anyway, the guy ended up becoming my partner on the truck. So we were on the truck together, and I'm just getting to know him. He's getting to know me. His name was Carrie, and so I'm asking him, does he have any sisters? Does he have any brothers? Just normal questions when you're meeting somebody, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's telling me about that he used to have a brother, but he was 7 years old, and when he was coming home from school one day, he disappeared.
Okay.
And it became a big case in California. It was all over the news. They were trying to find his brother. They never found anything about him. He just disappeared.
Wow.
Now, when he was telling me the story,
Hold on for a second.
When he was telling me the story about 5 days earlier, a little boy in California named Timmy White was kidnapped. And it was all over the news. This is around 1980 or so. You can look it up, Timmy White. And it was all over the news. They're trying to find this little boy, 5 years old. They couldn't find him.
Yeah.
And so now 5 days later, I'm meeting this guy. He's talking to me on the truck. And he's telling me about his brother and everything. His brother disappeared when he was 7 years old. That was 7 years before. This was 7 years ago. His brother disappeared. Yeah. So that night, I'm watching the news, and it's all over the news. Steven Stainer is back home. Now, Steven Stainer was his brother, where he got kidnapped 7 years before when he was 7 years old. Now he's 14 years old, and it's all over the news. He's back home. Yeah. And I had just heard about this kid earlier that day. So what happened was, the man who had abducted Steven Stainer, he molested him. Okay. But then after that, he ended up raising him as his own son. And he ended up, and the 7-year-old ended up living with him. And was with him, going to school and everything. Yeah. Excuse me. And he was 14 now, and they were living up in Northern California. And the man kidnapped this 5-year-old boy named Timmy White.
Wow. Which was his brother?
Well, no. The 5-year-old, he just got kidnapped. The 5-year-old got kidnapped. Yeah. Taken to the cabin where the 14-year-old, who had got kidnapped 7 years before. Oh, okay. Took him to the cabin where he lived with him. I think it was Uriah, California. And was probably going to molest the 5-year-old and do what he did to the 14-year-old when he was younger. Yeah. So when the man went to work, the 14-year-old didn't want to see the 5-year-old go through what he went through, you know. So he wanted to save him, rescue him. So he got into town. I don't know how he got into town, but he got into town and he got up to the police station. But he didn't go in the police station. He just dropped the 5-year-old boy off at the front of the police station. And was running away. Because at this point, the 14-year-old lives with the man. I don't think he was getting molested anymore, whatever. But at this point, he's still living with the man. But he wanted to save the 5-year-old, so he dropped the 5-year-old at the police station and he took off. The police immediately recognized the 5-year-old as being Timmy White, because Timmy White's face has been plastered all over the news all day. So the police grabbed the 14-year-old 2 blocks away and said, well, who are you? And he said, my name is Steven. He either said my name is Steven or my first name is Steven. I forgot what his answer was, but it's the name of a movie. The movie comes on once a year. It usually comes on like the Lifetime channel. It's either called My Name is Steven or My First Name is Steven. Okay. And that's the story of how he had got kidnapped when he was 7 years old, came back home, he saved his 5-year-old boy, The police grabbed him.
Yeah.
That's when he said his name is Steven. That's when the police realized he's Steven Stainer that got kidnapped 7 years before.
Yeah.
And that's how Steven Stainer ended up back home.
25 years ago, the nation was shocked and overjoyed to hear that 2 missing children had been found alive. One was a 5-year-old named Timmy White, who'd been missing for about 2 weeks. The other was Steven Stainer, a 14-year-old boy who had been gone for an incredible 7 years.
So now, if you watch the movie, you'll see that Steven Stainer ended up going back to high school in his hometown in Merced.
Yeah.
Of course, the other high school students had read all over the newspaper that he got molested and everything. So you know how bad kids could be. So they gave him a rough time.
Yeah.
But he survived all that, and he ended up getting married, and he had 2 kids. And then he ended up dying on a motorcycle accident. He was about 21 or 22 years old.
Yeah.
So this all took place in 1980.
Yeah, yeah.
So fast forward,
Mm-hmm.
1997.
Yeah.
Somewhere around 97 or 98, something like that. You can look it up. I was living in the Poconos in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
and I'm reading the newspaper, and I'm reading about these 2 teenage girls, and one of the girls' mother got killed in Yosemite National Park.
Okay.
And I was interested in the article because I used to live near Yosemite National Park, because Yosemite National Park is like outside of Merced, California, so I used to go there a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I was interested in reading this article.
Yeah, yeah.
I was reading about these 2 girls and the mother, they got killed, they didn't know who killed them or whatever, and nothing ever happened, nobody got arrested.
Mm-hmm.
A year later, somewhere around 98, 99,
Hold on.
another lady's body was found right outside Yosemite. She was found with her head decapitated.
Wow.
And again, I was reading the article because it's Yosemite and da. And about a week after that, I'm reading an article about an arrest they made. They made an arrest in the case of the lady with her head cut off.
Mm-hmm.
They then also charged the person with killing the 2 teenage girls and the mother the year before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just reading the article, and when I get down to the bottom of the article, when I get down to the article where it mentions his name, and I see Carrie Stainer, that's when I looked up at the little photo in the article, and I seen this picture. Even though I hadn't seen him in 20 years, like 19 years, that was obviously him. He became a serial killer. He used to be in the truck delivering waterbeds with me. So and you can look all this up. His name is Carrie Stainer. I don't know if it's C-A-R-Y or K-A-R-Y, but it's Stainer, S-T-A-I-N-E-R, I think. And you can Google it. He's doing life. He's on death row. No, he's not doing life. He's on death row in California right now. So that was a double story of
The waterbeds.
That all came from the waterbed story. Old the bar store. Anyway.
All right, story. Say until next time. Say Grand-Peezy.
Until the next story time, that's Grand-Peezy. Good night, y'all.
Say good night.
Good night.